The ATL movie.
Yeah.
You returned the favor to T.I. You turned that down to T.I.
Well, because interestingly enough, what people don't know, both Drumline and ATL were produced by Dallas Austin, and they're both about his life.
Wow.
So yeah, and it gets deep. I mean, I'm for sure maybe you get him on the couch.
Yeah.
He'll get to talk about like how Drumline was really dedicated to his older brother that had passed away.
Yeah, okay.
And in that sense where like he was just nice with the sticks, and Dallas was the same way, and he was living in his older brother's shadow, and he didn't know how to read music. Like one of the greatest producers of all time, still didn't know how to read music like that at his origin. And then it was just so dope that he was able to put on for Atlanta in two different ways. So Drumline was his marching band high school experience going into college. And then ATL was based off of this skating rink that all of him and his, like T-Boz from TLC, like they all grew up together going to this spot called Jelly Beans. And that's what the script was originally called because it was named after that spot. And then it eventually became ATL. But at the time, the reason why I didn't do, at the time was Jelly Beans that turned into ATL was because I got another offer for a roller skate movie that was shooting in Chicago called Roll Bounce.
Right.
But then, because that's when you get hot, like, you kind of get your pick and choose of which movies you want to do.
Absolutely.
So I didn't want to do either, really, because I was trying to become a man, and I was like, all of these movies are about young dudes. I want to give me a gun. I want to be a police officer. I was on that. Okay. But Roll Bounce was another Fox movie, and they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Yeah, okay.
So I turned down like the main roles and a few other roles, and I was like, is there a way I could just pop in? And they were like, all right, we gonna come in and we'll let you create a part and you can do whatever you want. Shouts out to Malcolm Lee, who's a brilliant director, allowed me to kind of just freestyle and do my thing. But they still put my face on the box like I was the star of the movie. It was really Bow Wow. It was like me and Bow Wow and I think Megan Good at the time. But it was like they were just feeding off of that. So I was like, I turned down the other movie because I knew I didn't have to work as much and I probably got a bigger paycheck doing this over here. So it's a little inside Hollywood type of stuff, but that's why I wish, granted, T.I. killed it. That role was for him. It was about, ATL and all of that, but just, what Dallas and I had set out to do, he was like, yo, we're going to do Drumline first, and we're going to do Jelly Beans next. And but it happened the way it was supposed to happen. Right.
You mentioned like when you get hot, then you have opportunities. Is there some roles that you probably turned down? Because it's hot like ATL, but you had Roll Bounce. Yeah. So, no harm, no foul. But there's some other roles like, damn, man, I missed a golden opportunity.
There's a bunch of, there's Oscar Award winning film that I turned down at the time because I was like, man, it got too much cussing in it. And I didn't even, like at the time it was an independent film. It was the film Crash. And
man, that was, oh my God. That's with Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard is in, Lorenz Tate and Luda.
Yes.
I don't remember which role between Luda and Lorenz.
That was unbelievable.
Phenomenal movie, and I had to watch the Oscars from the house.
Was Sandra Bullock in that too, I think?
Yeah, was it Sandra Bullock? Yeah. It was a star-studded cast.
Man,
it was one of those movies where it's telling the same story at a different time.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was just one of them. But we'd be here all night talking about all the movie roles I turned down or things that was almost supposed to be. And then that's where, again, you got to enjoy the journey. Right. You know what I mean? Because it was for me, it's for me. And even like to this day, as much as I do and the success and all that stuff, to my core, man, I love nothing more than being a character and acting. And every time, no matter how big the role, how small the role, I'm going to dive into that because that's the thespian in me that just like, I love to act.
Biops, you were supposed to play Richard Pryor. I also had Mike Epps, and Mike Epps said he's like, man, I'm this close to doing that role. And as a matter of fact, you see him dressed, he kind of looks like Richard Pryor, and he can talk like
it was me, Mike, and Marlon. And
yes,
again,
I had Marlon Wayans on. Yep.
Screen test. We did the deals, and I remember to play. I don't remember who the third woman was, but obviously at the same time, the screen test was with Richard and his wife. Those were all the scenes.
Yes.
And I remember it was Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway, and I can't remember what the other lady was. Okay. Right, and we just all had to switch off on different times and different chemistry, and. it was funny. Like, I mean, because Lee Daniels was the director, so we all doing our scenes, and it was just a great opportunity to be in the same building, acting with phenomenal talent.
Right.
And I remember because, you know, Lee Daniels is a close friend, and I was like, Lee, I was like, what happened? And he was like, look, Nick, you're a phenomenal actor, but you ain't never smoked crack. You're goddamn right. Like,
Well,
not to say any of them other ones have, but I'm just saying, like, I was probably, you know, my youthful exuberance that didn't get me all the way to where I was supposed to, because I remember killing those scenes.
You think they're gonna make the movie?
That's a heavy one, man. Like, there's so much involved. I mean, at the time I had talked, you know, with his daughter, his wife at the time, like, it's a heavy story, man.
Yeah.
And I if they do make it, I hope they do it justice. I remember early on that, you know, Eddie was gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that would have been amazing.
Yes.
And I think, first of all, I definitely think Mike should have got. Shouts out to Marlon, who's also a phenomenal. But Mike embodied that.
He kind of looked at me.
Like,
with a little makeup, he definitely gonna be looking like Rich.
But I mean, whoever gets it, man, like it's I've been attached to, you know, a lot of those different biopics, and you know, those are tricky. You know what I mean? Because you have the admiration and the love from the fans, and if you don't do it right, they're
gonna tear you up.
Yeah, and you want to create your own identity too, because there's some people who play roles so well that that's all they become. You know, so again, I'll step up to the opportunity if it makes sense and if it's aligned correctly. But I just love a great role and a great character, and that would have definitely been one of them.
You were also in Love Don't Cost a Thing with Christine Milian and Steve Harvey. How was that experience?
Super fun. You know, again, that was one of those things where I was always focused on my pen. And, you know, I was like, the only way I'll do this movie is I get to do, you know, my draft and do things. So a lot of that, so I named the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing, because I was at the time when Jennifer Lopez had that hit song. And it was based off of a movie from the 80s called Can't Buy Me Love, which is also a Beatles song. So I was like, yo, we got to find a hot song today that kind of says the same thing. So like stuff like that, I was real intricate in kind of moving it around. And I had no idea it was going to be, you know, this cult classic fan favorite to this, you know, generation or the generation previous. Because we were just like, oh, I'm going to be honest, like I did that movie for the check. And that's one of those things like, that was probably the last time I did something for a check, because it was like, all right, I could go do this independent film, Crash. Yeah, or I could go buy my mama a house, you know, and I kind of did it for that. But also they gave me the creativity, and that's the space that I was on. I was all about writing, directing, and producing. So I got to cut my teeth on that. And it ultimately just came out to be like a cute little sweetheart movie that people grew up on and grew up loving.
Literally and figurative, huh?
Yeah.
You ended up.
Oh, absolutely. You know me, I'm focused on my leading lady. That's what I'm just doing my job.
You're not supposed to do that though.
No, you are. If you are a good actor, ask Sean Penn. Like you supposed to dive into the character. You supposed to fall in love
on camera
and off too. That's a sign of a great. That's one of them Hollywood secrets that people do not talk about, is that people will go do a movie and whoever that chemistry, they make it real.
Yeah.
Like they get a pass because I was in character.
Well, Brad Pitt,
you was in them draws is what you was in.
Well, we saw that with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
They do. That's what they do, man. Like and it's the best of them, and it gets to a space where if you really want that chemistry to work, you got to figure out where that.
But then what happens when they break up?
On to the next movie.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because you know we like to do something before two something.